Now you may stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Good morning, North. I'm Stone. Welcome to our first North News of March. Let's see what's going on in the library.
So what's going on in the library during March?
So in March we're kind of in the middle of our reading challenge. We're having a mini reading challenge this semester that goes until the middle of May, and so people are really working on that. And we're also getting ready to have everybody come back to school at the end of the month, and so we're really looking forward to that and getting things ready. Right now we're sitting in the newest part of the library, which is the relaxation station, which is a place for being unplugged, so not a place for your computers or whatever, but just to read or relax or decompress or de-stress. So this is our newest thing in the library that's available in March.
When school starts back up again, when is the library open for students to come in?
So the library is open all day, basically. So when students come into the building at 7:30, the library is open, and it is open after school as well until at least 3:30, usually a little later. You can also come in at break. You can come in at lunch. We have lunch passes as well. And then you can also come to the library during class time if you have your teacher's permission.
What are some of the library rules?
So as far as library rules go, you just have to remember that the library is a part of the school. It's kind of like a classroom, and so some of those similar rules as far as you want to respect the space and be respectful of other people. We don't eat in the library, but you can bring in your water bottles. And when you are checking out books, you can have usually 3 books at a time for about 2 weeks. And then you just take good care of those books and get them turned back in on time. So,
Speaking of back to the reading challenge. How do you sign up for that?
So just the easiest way to sign up for the reading challenge is to probably go to the library's website, which if you're on North's website and you look under, it's actually under a couple of different places, but if you look under students, it'll say the library at North Junior High. You click on that. At the very top of the page, there's a link to sign up, and it is absolutely not too late because you only have to read 15 books, and they don't have to be super long. And so, and you're reading to compete for the t-shirt and some other prizes as well. So yeah, that's the easiest way to sign up. You can also just talk to me and I can get you taken care of.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Baker.
You're so welcome.
Have a wonderful weekend, Vikings.
Thanks. See you in the library.
Feeling like showing off your special skills? Here's some more information about the upcoming talent show.
If you are interested in auditioning for the talent show, please see Miss Wright for more information or email her to join the Google Classroom. Auditions will be held for MCs and talent show acts prior to spring break.
Want to feel the nice weather and eat outside? Here's Reed with Mr. Lingle on how to eat outside this spring safely.
Spinning. All right, boom, we're recording. We're good to go, man.
Cool. So the first question I wanted to ask you is just like when we're eating outside, what are the rules? Like, because we're outside, so is there a change to when we're at the lunch tables?
Good question. Yeah. So you're talking currently, or are you talking about when we come back 5 days a week, or
Both, I guess.
both? Okay. Yeah. So really, the big rule outside, and really the reason why we're allowing kids to eat outside this year is just because of COVID, and we're trying to spread kids out and not have everyone in the cafeteria. So really, there's no necessarily rules outside, other than kind of the expectation is that we do want kids to kind of clean up after themselves and throw their trash away. That's the big one, and that's kind of been really in previous years, that's kind of been the major thing that has prevented us from allowing kids to eat outside, is just the mess that has come along with that. But for the most part, this year, kids have actually been done really good and been pretty responsible about getting their stuff thrown away. So
Okay, but no distance will be enforced, or is there an expectation that 6 feet?
yeah, good question. So yeah, we're still going to try to enforce the 6 feet, and especially if groups are sitting, like if they're eating in a group and they're sitting with a group, yeah, the expectation is that we still want them spread out as much as possible, because they're sitting there for a long time. So we're still going to expect the 6 feet of distance. At lunch, the lunch supervisors, we do the best we can to constantly remind kids of that. If there are kids that are standing around in a group, we are constantly telling, hey guys, spread out. And sometimes I'll even blow the whistle and just shout it out loud, like, hey, you guys got to give yourselves distance. So yeah, we are still going to kind of regulate that and do the best we can. We know when all the kids come back in the building, it's going to be hard to maintain 6 feet all of the time. But there are times that we can make sure that we're abiding by that. And so we're going to continue to encourage kids to be 6 feet and remind them as often as we can to help us out with that and kind of stay 6 feet apart.
Cool. And then, is there gonna be like a limit to group size when they have their masks off?
Good question. I don't think so. I mean, again, we're just going to kind of encourage that 6 feet. So if you're sitting in a group of 10, and obviously your circle is just going to have to be wider because you're going to have to spread out more, but we're not going to regulate necessarily the group size. We're just going to kind of focus on that 6 feet of space. So again, if you're in a bigger group, your circle is going to have to be a little bit bigger in order to spread out appropriately.
Okay. Other than that, is there just anything else you'd like to say for students to do while they're outside that we haven't already covered?
No, I think those are the main things. I mean, I think cleaning up after themselves is huge. And like I said, it's been a little bit better because a lot of the kids who are going outside are bringing their own lunches. And so a lot of them, they just don't have things to throw away because they're just putting it back in their lunch bag or their lunch box or whatever and putting it back in their backpack. So yeah, kind of cleaning up after themselves and maintaining 6 feet of distance, especially if they're sitting down and eating with a group of other students, are going to be the two main things that we want happening now, but also obviously after spring break when we all come back together. That's going to be one thing we're going to focus on. We are working on kind of how to spread students out even more. Right now with half the kids back, having the 8th graders go to the gym first and the 7th graders go to the cafeteria is working out pretty well right now. But that's only half the kids in each grade. So when everyone's back, we're going to have to kind of figure out, okay, how can we still maintain that social distancing in the cafeteria with all of the 7th graders? And so we're still kind of working out kind of what that might look like. And it might be some sort of rotation, kind of like we're doing now, but just even smaller groups rather than all 7th graders. It might be, okay, half the 7th graders in the cafeteria now, everyone else outside. All right, that group of 7th graders is done. The next group of 7th graders go in, when they finish, first group of 8th graders. So we're still going to kind of work on that and figure what that'll look like. But no, the big things are, yeah, just cleaning up after themselves and kind of maintaining that 6 feet distance whenever they can. And then obviously masks, but masks is something that's wherever you are on campus. So that goes for outside or in the building. Obviously the expectations will be that you'll be wearing a mask all the time. And we have had to kind of work with kids about, there's a difference between wearing your mask when you're eating and keeping it down, right? I mean, you can keep your mask on, put it down to eat, and then put it back on is kind of what the expectation is. Right now, a lot of kids are keeping it off and for 20 minutes and saying, "Oh, well, I'm eating the whole time." It's like, well, you're not eating that whole 20 minutes, right? So we do want students to keep the mask on, lower it to eat, put it back on when they're chewing, and then lowering it again before they enter something else. So, we've kind of had to remind students about that as well. So those are kind of the three big things: kind of cleaning up, keeping space, and then wearing your mask, even when you're eating. So,
Okay. Thank you for your time.
yeah, I think.
Feeling lucky today? You may be a winner in the Viking card drawing this week.
Good morning, North. We're coming to you from Mr. Hill's classroom for the Viking card drawing for Friday. So here we go. We're starting with Alicia. Draw a couple cards out for us. We'll say their names. Okay, first winner is Greenlee McBriar from Mr. Reinard. Greenlee McBriar. Second one today is Shabham Nasser from Miss Martin. Good job. Next up, Jordan Alice from Miss Martin. Next one, Kessler Weaver from Mrs. Thompson. And next up is Min Saxton from Miss Thompson. And our final student is Espen Amer from Mrs. Cannon. And we have 2 teacher winners to draw, so let's get way down in here and see what we got. 2 teacher winners. The first one is Miss Bernert. The second one is Miss Bernert, so we better draw again. So the second one is Miss Oberlindocker. So congratulations to all the winners of this week's Viking card drawing. Have a great weekend.
That's the end of this edition of the North News. Subscribe to our North Vikings TV YouTube and have a great weekend.